Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show quite a great tarot deck that was published earlier this year. That is the Primordial Tarot, which is created by Sergio Toppi, and this is published by Scarabeo. So here is the box, and it has a hard cardboard box, and I really like this deck. It's quite different, and it has a very primal feel, and it's also quite a shamanic deck. I think that needs to be mentioned as well. There's an emphasis on it being a primal deck, but it is very shamanic. And this deck was originally published in 1992 by Scarabeo, and the previous name for the deck was Tarot of the Origins. So this is the new edition. This is the 2020 edition, and I'm really glad that I waited for this edition because I do prefer this one. I could have got the Tarot of the Origins about 10 years ago. I saw that deck, and the Tarot of the Origins was published in 1992, and this was originally, Tarot of the Origins was originally a Majors only deck that was published in 1989 first of all, and then it became a full tarot deck of 78 cards in 1992 when it was Tarot of the Origins. But this is the second edition for this year, and it's now called Primordial Tarot. So there's the box, and the guidebook is written by Barbara Moore, and I really like the way this book has been written. I really like the guidebook. There are 3 spreads in here that have been created for this deck, and Barbara Moore also mentions in this book that this deck has its own system. I think, in my opinion, the only similarity to a Waite-Smith deck is that all of the cards are scenic and illustrated. That is really one of the only similarities with the Waite-Smith system. The deck has its own structure, and a lot of the major arcana have been renamed. The suits have been changed, that they have their own names, and the court cards as well. So you have the suits, the court cards, the major arcana, all have their own names. There's only a few, about, I would say a third at the most of the cards have got the same titles as the Waite-Smith system. So at least 2/3 of the major arcana cards have their own titles. So this very much has its own structure, its own titles most of the time, and the court cards have been renamed. And it's also the suits. The suits don't really have elements attached to them, so that's something else to get a little bit, you need to get familiar with that as well. They're slightly different. They're not really corresponding with elements, so that's something different about this deck as well. Now, as for the cardstock is very good. This is the new Scarabeo cardstock. Here's the back of the cards, and here's the back of the cards, and they are semi-gloss, and I think the cardstock is really good. So there's the back of the cards, and I'm going to show you some of the major arcana to begin with that I particularly like. And the major arcana have Roman numerals, and the titles are all in the book. The cards that I particularly like that I'm going to show you now, I'm going to mention the new titles, the titles for this deck. So I will most likely mention the usual title, and if it's changed, I'll mention that as well. So here is the Magician, and this is the same title as usual in a tarot deck. And there's a very thin black border on here, and the Roman numeral is at the top and bottom of the card. I love this artwork. I love the whole feel of the deck. I'm really impressed with this deck. I'm so glad that I waited for this version, because the original version is quite different. So that was the Magician. This is called the Father, which would normally be the Emperor card. So that is the Father. And I love the artwork. I love the primal, shamanic feel of the deck. I think this would be a good deck for shadow work, because it is so primal. So that's the Father. This is called Union, which would normally be the Lovers. This is a great Hermit card, and it's still called the Hermit. And I hope you can see the Hermit is here inside the skull, sitting inside the skull, this giant skull. It's probably a dinosaur skull, and you can just see the Hermit figure sitting there. It's like inside a cave effect. So that's the Hermit. The deck just fascinates me. It's just, the whole feel and presentation of the deck is great. Now here is 12 instead of the Hangman. This is called the Sacrifice. So this gives an idea also of why a lot of these cards are very shamanic. It's about shamanism as well as survival of the early people, the first peoples of the world. So that's the Sacrifice. I love this card. This is called the Source, which would normally be Temperance. So this is the Source. I really love this particular card. It's one of my favourites of the whole deck. I just think it's so beautiful and very archetypal. It's a beautiful card. The Source. So it's kind of representing the source of all life. This is called the Demon instead of the Devil. Really is a wonderful deck. Demon. This is called the Standing Stone, which would normally be the Tower. This is the Star or the Stars, which is on the box. The colours are really beautiful in this particular card. I like the colouring of all of the deck, but I love the colours in this, the beautiful shades of blue. That's the stars, and this is the moon. So it's got a crescent moon at the bottom of the card. I love this card as well. This is probably my close second favourite. Really love this card for the moon. And the world. I really like this too. So it's basically very much like Stonehenge in England. So this is a great card for the world. So there's some of the major arcana cards. Now for the suits and the minor arcana. Now this is where the names are different. This is called, the first suit is called Nature, and it's coloured green, and this corresponds loosely with wands. So this is Nature. So think of nature for wands. So, and nature, then this nature suit is mainly about instinct, and instinct in connection with nature. So here is the ace. It has a wand type of symbol down here. So that's the ace. And the interesting thing about the numbered cards, these are numbered from 1 to 14. So that includes what you would normally see as the court cards as well. The whole suit is numbered from 1 to 14 in ordinary numerals. So this is well, instead of the ace, you could call it the 1 of nature. But all 14 cards, and especially the ones from 1 to 10, they've got their own titles as well. But it's all in the book. And the meanings are really good. As I said, I really like the way this book has been written. So this is the 1 of nature. This is the 6 of nature. And the art has got a timeless feel. This is a truly timeless deck. That's the 6 of nature. And the 6 is up at the top of the card. And this is number 11, so this is the child of nature. So the court cards go man, woman, animal, and nature. Excuse me. Man, woman, animal, and child. So this is the child of nature. So 11 is child, 12 is animal, 13 is woman, and 14 is man. So this is number 11, nature. 11 of nature is the child of nature. So this is like a juvenile type of figure. So it's child of nature. Now for the blue, coloured blue suit, so green is nature, blue is called soul. So this is the 1 of soul, which corresponds loosely to cups, and there's clay pots here. So I think of this one as more like vessels or pots rather than cups, but this blue suit is called soul. So this is the 1 of soul. And this is about intuition, this suit. First one was more about the instinct of nature. Instinct in connection with nature. This is intuition in connection to soul. So the 1 of soul, which is like cups. And I like this. This is the 10. The 10 of soul. I like the lightning here. So the lightning is signifying a new cycle, a new, which is what the number 10, the 10s in the tarot normally do. So this is the 10 of soul. And you can see the clay cup or clay pot here again. So it's 10 of soul. And 13 of soul, which would normally be this is the woman of soul, or the woman of cups. So all of the number 13 cards are woman. So this is woman of soul. Now for the red suit. The red suit is loosely corresponding to swords, and these are really like arrows. They're arrows or blades. And the red suit is called blood because it's about survival. So this is the 1 of blood, which is, this is the sword type of blade symbol. So this is the 1 of blood. So this is very much about survival, this suit. 1 of blood. The 5 of blood. So you can really see the survival instinct in the face of this person. The 5 of blood. And here is one of the animal cards. This is the 12. So this is the animal. This is the animal of blood. So all of the number 12 cards, which would normally be seen as knight type of cards, these are called the animal court cards. So this is the animal of blood. So that's all about survival again. And then the 4th suit, which is coloured yellow. This one is similar to Pentacles, and it is called jewels, and for me they look like shields. I call this, within myself, I think of this one as shields rather than jewels, because you'll be able to see this when I show this to you. And this is about physical existence. So this is the 1. Now I'm going to think of these as shields because you can see the symbol here, but in the book it's referred to as jewels, which is spelt, EWELS, but I can't really see it for me. I can't see it. I keep seeing shields, so that's what I'm going to think of it as. But I'm telling you what's in the book. This is the one of shields, excuse me, one of jewels. One of jewels. It's yellow for the gold of that. Maybe you could think about this suit from the Bronze Age, for example. And this is the 8 of jewels. So this card has got a very earth goddess feel. I really like this one, as I do all the other cards. 8 of jewels. And this is really beautiful. I really love this one. So this is the animal of jewels. So it's number 12. But I love this little bird. So this is, you know, this is the animal court card. Number 12. So this is the animal of jewels. So there's some of the cards from the Primordial Tarot by Sergio Toppi. I think this is just a classic deck, and I love this version. I like the book. I love all of the cards. I think this is a great deck. I think it is really worth getting if you would like a shamanic deck, because it is very shamanic and it is primal, but it's a very archetypal deck. I think this would be really good. I'm going to use this, I would think, mainly for shadow work type of thing, because it is such a primal deck and it is so different and it is so unique. I really don't see this as a conventional tarot. It has its own structure, its own theme. It's so unique and different, but it is such a worthwhile deck. I really like this deck. I think it's great. So Primordial Tarot by Sergio Toppi, and I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.